Welcome in, everyone, to the Game or Die Show. My name is Ryan Moore, and tonight we're going to be playing some video games. We're going to be playing pinball. Yeah, man, I haven't played some pinball in a while, especially in this new studio. I think we've only done a few pinball streams, and so I'm really excited to get back into a little bit of pinball to kind of just start off the week. And, just go for a little bit here for a couple hours playing some old classic pinball tables. Maybe some new ones that I haven't tried out before. But yeah, we're just going to have a chill stream tonight. Hang out, relax, have some fun, have some sippy sip of your sip stuff. And yeah. So let's just get into it. Let's get started. Hope everyone is doing good. All right. So we're starting off with a little bit of Addams Family. Oh, man, I can't snap. Some Addams Family tonight. And this is probably one of my favorite tables, too. The audio is so good. And you know what? I actually might crank up the audio just a little bit there. There we go. All right. So I've got some new camera mounts coming tomorrow, hopefully, and some extra lighting stuff coming tomorrow. So I worked a little bit today in the studio, getting up, building some stuff, and, it felt really good to be back in the swing of, just being back in here. Today was a little bit warmer, which was nice. And man, just this weekend was so crazy weather. Last night was so cold after the stream. I think we ended around 2 o'clock or whatever, or a little after 2:30. And I walked out of the studio and my car was frozen. Like there was frost on the window. There goes Thing, doing his thing. Like all the windows, the door, the roof, the hood, it was all frosted over. It was crazy. Oh, come on, man. Let me just check something really quick over here. Make sure, because I have been having some issues with the chat, and I want to make sure chat is all good. Okay, yeah, everything seems to be going okay. All right, cool. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. But I've been kind of working on some of the stuff that I was talking about last night too, which was really fun. Getting new format stuff ready for the stream. Again, it's not going to be like anytime in the next couple of weeks or whatever, but hopefully fairly soon I can get at least some stuff. I'm trying to figure out, do I want to implement it like as I go, or do I want to have everything ready to go so that we have like a big launch stream, like a relaunching of the streams and stuff like that. I think that would be more fun, hyping it up, like making it an event. And that's kind of interesting too. I was talking with my wife about this the other day, like events and like how we do our events for the dog shows and stuff like that. And we got a dog show coming up this weekend that I'll probably be going to. So I might not be streaming on Saturday. Or even maybe Friday, I'm not really sure. Ooh. Did I do good? Let's see. Where did I place? 25 million? I don't feel like that's a whole lot. Ah, boo. Boo. Okay. So I guess all my high scores have been reset yet again.
Welcome back.
That's okay. I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk, over lost high scores. So a couple years ago, back in 2023, I believe, in the summer of 2023, I was going through this weird phase where I wasn't wanting to play video games. And I've never had that happen to me for such an extended period of time. Over the course of my life since 1988, I've played video games pretty much almost every day of my life. There's been an odd, couple days or 3 or 4 at a time, and then up until around 2010, or no, there was a couple times where, like, maybe in 2005 or so, where I would go on a week-long trip, and I didn't have electricity or video games or stuff like that. So that was really the only time in my life that I've never had playing video games for, like, a few days. Until this couple summers ago, 2023. And I talked about this on the podcast right around the time that it happened, where I was like podcasting, I'm like, dude, I'm not really playing anything. But during that summer, I couldn't get into any like main platforming, shooters, arcade, whatever type of video games. But I got into this stuff. Man, I am like off center, aren't I? So I got into some of this pinball stuff, and I was just having such a good time with it that, like, I got really into high scores for the first time. And that was really interesting because I've never cared about high scores, ever, in games. Like, a lot of classic arcade games, that was the whole draw. But for me, it's just the mechanics of the game, playing the game, seeing how far you get and stuff like that. How long you can go on a single credit or quarter. Those were the drawings for me with video games, like in the arcade era. And even pinball is just see how long I can keep the ball alive for, see, if I can activate certain things. But once I started getting really into pinball, dude, it was like a whole new thing, and it was awesome. I started getting really into, yes, multi-ball madness. I started really getting into the high score stuff. It's showtime. Dude, they make this multi-ball an event, man. I love it. Jackpot! Did I already lose all my multi-balls? Okay, no. I lost one. Man, that lightning storm where it magnetizes the ball, that is just such a head messer. It messes around with my head. It's a classic Winston and Cece mess around, right? I don't know why, but I got super into the show New Girl when that came out. I've always really enjoyed Zooey Deschanel's stuff. And like, I even got to go see Titanic 3D when they released it, based off of winning a Zooey Deschanel like website thing, like on her website. And so when New Girl came out, I was like, I will at least watch this for a few episodes. But like, it just became like a really, really, really funny show. You had like Schmidt and Winston and Nick and all those really funny, good guy characters. And then you had the quirky girl, Zooey Deschanel is, what was it, Jessica Day. And I don't know, man, like, I've always really enjoyed that show. And whenever I talk about it, people are like looking at me with a side eye like, why would you like that show? And I'm like, dude, give it credit, man. It's got some good stuff. Okay, we'll do one more round. One more round of this table, and then we'll switch out. If you have a table you want to see me play, if I've got it, I will be more than happy to play it. Just drop it in the chat. $. It's funny when a few months ago when we got our new puppy Viper. So we got her from our breeder friend, and when you get a dog from a breeder, the way that they mostly do it, like a lot of breeders do it this way, where they have a theme for the registered name of the dog. The dog has a registered name where part of its name is the kennel that it came from, or the breeder's kennel. And then they usually have a theme based around the litter. So this litter that we got our pet Viper from, our dog Viper, it was based off of like monsters, like macabre monsters and stuff. And so we were trying to figure out what we wanted to have her call name as. And a call name is basically what you call the actual dog. Scruffy, Banjo, Bow Wow, and stuff like that. So we were trying to figure out what, and we wanted to keep it, and some certain breeders want to have the call name and the register name kind of have the same theming to it. You don't want to have like a call name be completely different than the registered name, So we were trying to figure it out, and I suggested something in the Addams Family. And so my wife was starting to look up at I said, there's a lot of like quotes from the movie, a lot of quotes from the, arcade pinball table that they recorded specifically for this pinball table. So that cemeteries, toxic waste, it's all ours. That was always one of the ones that my wife actually really liked. She liked that quote. And I was like, yeah, how would we name the dog Quicksand? Like, I don't know.
Fumes, toxic waste, it's all ours.
There it is. Something fumes, toxic waste, it's all ours. So we were like, should we name it Toxic Waste or like what? Oh man. With the announcement that they're making a new Toxic Avenger movie, I don't know, man. Tromaville stuff, like the Troma movies, I've always kind of had like an interest in, only because I grew up with Toxic Avenger or the Toxic Crusaders, because it was that whole 80s era where movies that were super not for children got cartoons and action figure adaptations. We talked about it a little bit with, what was it? Like RoboCop and Rambo, Police Academy. And they made a Toxic Avenger, like cartoon called Toxic Crusaders, where Toxie, the main Toxic Crusader character, had a bunch of friends. And I was just thinking, oh, that would have been fun to name our dog Toxie. That's kind of a fun name for a dog. Because I always liked Toxic Crusaders, man. I remember I had a bunch of the action figures. I played the video game. It was really, really cool. Like, that was such a weird time. I was talking to my friends about this yesterday, I believe, maybe earlier today. I can't remember. Every day blends together now. It's weird. But I was talking about how one of my friend Jeff basically texted us and said, hey, can someone get the new is it Alvin and the Chipmunk show? There's like this new Netflix CGI Alvin and the Chipmunks TV show on Netflix. And so he was asking us, could we put it on Plex, our Plex servers? And so I was just like, I looked at the screenshot of what he sent me, and I just looked at it and went, ugh, this looks absolutely terrible and like garbage. And I said, why don't you just show him the original 80s, not the original, but the 80s cartoon of Alvin and the Chipmunks that we all grew up with that had the, the TV show as well, with the Chipettes and stuff. And I was just like, dude, all these new cartoons look so terrible. The animation style, the art direction, everything about modern animation just is pretty much complete and utter garbage. And it's such a shame too, because you would think like with the advancement of technology and how easy it is to churn out animation at this point, like you should be able to get good quality, like amazing quality. Like if you watch some of the quality of great TV shows that we all grew up with, the X-Men animated series, the Spider-Man animated series, Simpsons, you know, like all these animated shows that we grew up with, Ninja Turtles, we have such fond memories of them. Here, okay, we'll bounce out to another table. We'll do Al's Garage Band. But they had such good animation in certain parts, but then absolute terrible animation in certain parts too. All right. Stitchy. Yeah, that's so weird. I don't know why it reset all my high scores and all the little achievements. Like, look, I just got Gold 3 achievement and Gold 1 achievement within, 15 seconds of the first ball playing this. But I've played this table a million times. There we go. So kind of going back to the whole Alvin and the Chipmunks thing, I was just so bummed out that my friends' kids have to grow up in a world where all their cartoons look like complete and utter garbage. That CGI animation, that art direction just looks soulless. And I watched something else recently, like someone posted on X, like within the last few days, where I remember looking at it and going, this looks absolutely awful. Like this looks like it has no soul in it at all. This looks like it's pure commodity product versus animation and art, which, like, that's the whole distinction of art, right? That we should have something that gives us something to think about. Someone was wanting to say something. Someone is wanting to put something out in the world that they believe in or are trying to express themselves as. And that's not modern cartoons at all. Yeah! There we go. 2X. Get that video mode. Yeah. All right, hit both flippers. Get that drum. Dude, yeah, 74,000. I'll take it. Oh, the ball's all jacked up. Come on, baby. I don't think I've ever had this happen before. There we go. Wow, it totally got stuck and just screwed up my my point system. That sucks.
Tour again?
Yeah, tour again, dude.
Back to skin. Lots of giggling.
Ah, boo. Come on.
Stitchy.
Freebird!
Hey, cool.
I love older pinball tables that have a lot of like voices and things like that, right? It's so good. Especially from like the early 90s, late 80s era, where you get a lot of terms that you don't hear anymore. Way cool, dude. Oh, dude, that's sick. Wicked. All right, let's do another one.
Producing Al's Garage Band.
Ah, come on. I hate it when it goes right down the middle.
Record a song.
Okay, I'll record a song. We were talking about it last night a little bit, and I was thinking about it in the car. We went out and went shopping this evening. And I was thinking about how I was talking about doing radio shows. And it kind of got me thinking into some ideas. And I went, man, how could I possibly do that on the stream? Because I've been doing the Rock Band streams and all that stuff, and that's been really, really fun. Dude, what is going on? I've never had it happen like this before, where it kind of gets locked like that. But I've never had that happen. It's happened twice. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, the radio stuff. So I've been doing the Rock Band streams, and I've actually been having a really fun time with it. It's a really fun, relaxing thing. Come on. It's been a really fun, relaxing thing for me to kind of stream because it's getting me to listen to music. Some of it I know, some of it I don't know. And the only thing is I can't stream on YouTube because of the musical issues stuff, all the DMCA stuff with YouTube and streaming music. So, or like having music in videos on YouTube. And so if I wanted to, like, which I think would be a really fun idea, is have some sort of radio set or DJ set during the stream where I could, you know, do a little bit of few minutes of stepping away off of camera, but also playing music for everyone and doing a DJ set. I think that would be super fun, but how would I do that where I don't alienate half of my viewership or even a large chunk of my viewership? Because that's where a lot of my viewers are nowadays, is on YouTube. And I'm trying to, like, I was trying to do it today and it just didn't get done, and I'm kind of bummed about it. But I wanted to get some YouTube video recorded today, and I just didn't get a chance. Oh, come on. I didn't get a chance to, and that bummed me out because I want to get back into that. And so doing the Rock Band stuff, doing some radio DJ spots and things like that, I think would be really, really fun. But how do I integrate it into the stream without killing, you know, the YouTube side of the video or stream? Did I get an extra ball? Heck yeah. Extra ball. I also want to do more development stuff. If I can find a way how to get my voice into certain games and do announcer packs, I think that would be really fun too. Like we were playing a little bit of what was it? Mortal Kombat last night. That was really, really fun. Man, dude, I hate it when it just goes right down the middle of the gutter. We're gonna do one more. Because that was just garbage. Complete garbage. What happened? But we were playing Mortal Kombat Trilogy last night, and I actually did fairly well once Boy Octane like started giving me some notes, man. And I started kind of getting into the groove of learning movesets for characters like Noob Saibot, and was the other character I did really well with, Smoke. I got up all the way to Shao Kahn. Like, that's pretty freaking rad. That's very hard for me to do in fighting games. And so I was thinking about like, oh, what do I want to stream tonight? And I was like, do I want to go back to Mortal Kombat Trilogy tonight? Do I want to start from the save state where we were at Shao Kahn last night? Or do I want to just say, screw it and go through the whole tier list again? Because why not, right? That would give me more, it would give me more experience. And then it was like, do I want to go into, after we beat Mortal Kombat Trilogy, because I totally could at this point, do I want to play some more fighting games? Like Killer Instinct, or, man, I hate it when it goes down the middle. Or Street Fighter. Like, do I want to get into some Street Fighter and stuff? And so, like, that was kind of my thought process earlier this evening. I was trying to think of what do I want to stream? What do I want to stream? And then I was thinking like, well, I gotta get back into VR. I haven't been in VR for a while. So we're in the middle of Quake 4, and so I was gonna do that tonight too. And it was just like, man, I don't have the time. Like, I got in here like, what, 15 minutes before going live and go set up all the stuff and get everything ready. So it was a little bit of a stressful like period of me trying to figure out what I wanted to do, what I wanted to stream, and I kind of just ended up going, you know what, pinball. It's nice and easy. I can kind of talk for a little bit, not too long, because my schedule got all screwed up this week for work again. I was not supposed to be doing my normal work. I have basically two different jobs at my job. And I have like 5 technically. I wear a ton of different hats. But my training job, where I actually teach and stream, I was not supposed to be doing that this week. And then this afternoon, I found out, oh, never mind. Yes, you are. So I got to stream tomorrow morning and do an entire class and teach that for this week. And I was like, ah, shoot. Okay, fine. I'll figure it out. But whatever, right? Whatever. It's all good. Okay, there we go. Good. It didn't get stuck this time. Yeah. I think this would be a fun table to own. I like this table a lot. It also kind of reminds me of Dr. Dude. Dr. Dude is a fun table. I think we'll play that next. Trippin'. Wicked. Super grinding. Ah. Bummer. Bummer. But there's a lot of fun stuff that I got in my brain. It's the execution, and that's one of the hardest parts too. Like, anyone can come up with ideas. It's the execution that's the hard part. And so I'm really trying to focus on actually doing that. What's up, Baba Sticky? Yeah, you've been playing some pinball. Nice. Great minds think alike, buddy, right? Yeah, my other chat is just straight up not popping up at all. I'm so bummed. The Stern badges, nice, yeah.
Introducing Al's Garage Band.
Oh, did I say we'll do one more? Oh well. We'll do this one and then we'll bounce out. And then we'll do Dr. Dude. See, I'm telling you, it's weird. It's getting this weird thing tonight where it's actually getting stuck. Yeah. I was feeling it, man. I really wanted to get back into some pinball. I was just saying how I was struggling with trying to figure out what to stream tonight. I've been so busy that I didn't really have an idea or plan of what to stream until about 15 minutes before going live. And I went, you know, I kind of want to have just some relaxing, fun pinball. So let's do that. And once I get back into doing the schedule, I'm going to have a scheduled pinball night, because that's always really fun, and I feel like I just haven't gotten around to pinball for a few months at this point. I think the last time I streamed pinball was like in December. Dude, it is just going right in the gutter, right down the middle. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's been a while. Oh boy.
Oh, it's the band.
I love that. Is one of my probably one of my top 10 favorite voice/audio samples in pinball is the girl screaming, "Ooh, it's the band!"
Police!
All right, let's do Dr. Dude. Dr. Dude, I got Dr. Dude on my mind. Let's do it. All right, Doctor Who and Dr. Dude. Something, something, the gift of gab. Come to Dr. Dude and something, something. That's all I remember. This is a solid, like, 80s, 90s, like late 80s, early 90s table. Ah, dang it. I would love to have this table. Yeah, this is probably, what, late 80s? That neon green, dude. Oh my gosh. Everything about this table is just cool. I'm not doing good. I'm not doing good. Dude. It's just going right down the middle tonight. Yeah, it's a solid one. Okay, that didn't count. Didn't count at all. There we go. See? That was a mulligan. This one counts. Bag of million shots, bag of tricks. I'm not getting any voice samples.
My life was dull, my life was drab.
Oh, he started saying it. I was dull and I was drab. Then I got the gift of gab. Something like that. Mixmaster Dr. Dude. Mixmaster or Grandmaster, anytime I hear those, I think of Married with Children. Because Bud Bundy, the son on that show, he goes like once he becomes like a teenager, like high school kid, he tries to reinvent himself as Grandmaster B or Bud, Grandmaster Bud. And so he's like, no, you gotta call me Grandmaster B. And throughout that entire season, they keep making fun of him and messing his name up on purpose, like Grandpa B, Bedwetter B, and all this. And oh my gosh, every time I think about Grandmaster or Mixmaster, I think about Bedwetter B. My friend Andrew was the one who really got me into that show.
Hey, how you doing? Don't you?
Like, it was always on, but it was definitely a show that was not meant for me as a kid when it was originally airing. And then I remember seeing the reruns and stuff like that on USA Network after wrestling, like after WWF, Raw is War. After Raw, they would have reruns of Married with Children. And so I started watching that afterwards, and I only got certain things. But once my friend kind of introduced it to me afterwards, like when I was in like way past college, like in 2008, I got super addicted to that show, and I just loved it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great.
My life was dull, my life was drab. Till I acquired the gift of gab. Always be excellent, never be rude. The gift of gab. Oh.
Get the gift of gab from Dr. Dude. There it is. My life was dull, my life was drab until I acquired the gift of gab. Then it goes on and says something else, and then get it from Dr. Dude. Yeah, the episodes that I remember from watching Raw's War when I was like 13, 14 was the London episodes. Anytime I think about Married with Children, I think of the London episodes because I remember watching it and they were doing it's a multi-part episode. Like they do like 4 or 5 episodes in London. And they have this whole like the Bundy curse in London and the town of Lower Umpton or something like that. And so anytime I think about Married with Children, I think of the London episodes immediately. It's just like ingrained into my brain, even though I haven't seen those episodes in a million years at this point. And I probably haven't seen those episodes more than most. I've seen like seasons 1 through 5, probably more than anything else. But it's interesting because like with that show, there's so many little things. Like when they introduced Jefferson, when Steve left, all of that stuff, like that was such a good show. I've been trying to see if I could get my wife to watch it. I don't think she's really wanting to, which I don't blame her. It's not like, it's probably not her humor for the most part. Like it's definitely a guy's show for sure. Like you have No Ma'am and stuff like that. But every time I think about that show and I talk to my wife about it, I'm like, oh man, that reminds me of when Al walks in after a long day of work and he has, some shoe salesman story about some fat lady trying to waddle her way into a size 8 shoe or something like that. Oh my gosh. Every time I think about stuff from that show, I just start laughing. It was so well written. And we just don't get shows like that anymore. It's interesting. I was posting earlier, a guy that I follow on X, I think he's a VR player. But he said something about God of War. He's like, oh, I guess they announced something about a TV show for God of War or something. And he was like, maybe I should play those, but maybe I shouldn't because I don't want to watch the TV show and then get angry that they spoiled the lore or storyline or the characters aren't in line with the games. And I responded by saying, oh, dude, don't worry about that. Like, just play the games. You're going to miss out if you don't, because all of those games are great. All of the God of War games are great. 1, 2, and 3, the original trilogy, is really good action, hack and slash brutality with a really cool story about mythology. And then I said, and then you can even go to the newer modern games, God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, and play those. Those are interesting in a different way because they are more prestige games. And he said, prestige games? I've never heard that term before. What does that mean? And so I started telling him, I'm like, oh, dude, prestige games are basically like the Sony exclusive games. God of War, Last of Us, where they're so self-serious that they're kind of trying to be like prestige TV. Like an HBO show like The Sopranos or Boardwalk Empire, where they're elevated in such a way like story takes, prime center over gameplay. And it's trying to make it like a TV show in a way, or like a big, 30 to 40 hour movie. And I've always liked the God of War series, and I went, man, I want to play those games again. Those original games, I mean, I haven't played them since they came out. I haven't played God of War 2 since it came out in 2007, 6, 7, something like that. When did 300 come out? Because I remember 300 was right around the time God of War 2 came out. That must have been 2006. No, 2007. Like early to mid 2007, because I remember The PlayStation 3 was out, and God of War 2 was a PlayStation 2 game. Yeah, God of War is fantastic. Do you like the newer God of War series, or do you like the old ones, or do you like them both? Because I like both of them for different reasons, like I was saying to that guy. Like the original three games on PlayStation 2 and 3, that trilogy is so good because it's all action, brutality, hack and slash, and you got this pissed off, just ultimately pissed off character, Kratos. And it's just all about ripping people a new one, right? But then you got the new ones where you have Atreus, you know, and you're a dad, and it's a much more self-serious tone, much more meaningful, much more prestige, like I said. It's so good. So they're very, very different in tone, but both of them have very high highs. And they really don't have many lows at all. Oh, you only play the first two? You never played the third one? Oh, you gotta play the third one to see how Kratos ends that first trilogy. 1 and 2 were on PlayStation 2, and then God of War 3 came out when I had the store in 2009, and I remember getting the box of God of War 3 and just literally opening up the box, putting all of them on the shelf, and turning to my employee and saying, I'm taking the rest of the day off. I pulled one of the last copies, and I just took it home and played God of War 3. It was so much fun. Okay, so you like the watching the gameplay of the others, yeah. And I mean, honestly, like, it's really interesting to see how games have changed over the course of the last several, decades. I'd say the last 15 years of video games have been very interesting for various reasons. One of them is the whole watching a game versus playing it. You can get a good chunk of the enjoyment out of a video game by just watching someone else play it, because, like God of War, Ragnarok in 2018, those are more designed as cinematic experiences where you are viewing and watching cutscenes for a good chunk of the gameplay. And the gameplay does take a back seat. And watching someone who's good at that gameplay, where the priority of the gameplay is animations, right? The brutality of ripping, some Medusa monster or whatever in half. And that animation is so satisfying just by watching it that you don't have to be controlling it to enjoy those games. And I love that about gaming. I remember, I was definitely a person where I was like, why would you want to watch someone play a video game instead of playing it yourself? But depending on, and it's only because gaming has just exploded so much in the last couple of decades that there's not enough time or not enough money, and you can get a lot of enjoyment just by watching someone else play instead of you playing it. You might not want to fork over that, $60-$70 on an experience that you can get roughly the same amount of enjoyment with by watching someone else play it for free, And I think that's super cool, and that's why I love streaming, is because I can showcase a lot of these, games to people who've never played them before, or wouldn't, Like, I've watched other streamers play games that I would never spend my own money or time playing. But if I have it on in the background and I'm casually listening to the story happen, and like I'll watch it, like you're saying, it's like a movie or watching a TV show at this point. And it definitely has replaced a lot of movies and TV shows. I don't watch a lot of movie or TV at this point, but I will absolutely pretty much every day. I'm constantly intaking some sort of video game experience by watching other streamers in the background as I work. When I'm not teaching, because I can't do that while I'm teaching. But like, if I have a student testing or something like that, I'll definitely watch, you know, have something on in the background watching them or listening to the game. I think, what was it? Last year, I watched, what was it? What was it? The second Final Fantasy VII game, Rebirth, that came out last year. I had that in the background while I was building a new computer, and it was right when our dog Sunny passed away too. And so like that was definitely something that kind of got me through that experience, was just having that, you know, 100-hour experience just on in the background while I'm building a computer, testing stuff out, and just trying to process my dog passing away. Like that was such a good cathartic thing for me. And it's like, dude, that's a absolutely super valid way to experience a video game at this point. And it's really interesting. It says the same thing to someone else before you too, yeah. Like, why would I watch someone do it? But like, you kind of get it at some point. You go, no, this is totally valid. I mean, you can think about it like an audiobook, right? Why wouldn't you read it? Well, sometimes I don't have the time to sit down and just stare at some pages for 15 hours. Maybe I'm in the car for 4 hours a day like I used to be when I was commuting, or when I was traveling, dude. I had a 5 to 6 hour plane ride twice a week for 3 years. I got through so many audiobooks and TV shows and movies because, like, what am I gonna do? I just have to sit there for 5 to 6 hours. So I'm gonna spend my time. I can't sit there and read, or sometimes I can, you know, but like at that point too, like I like listening. I like hearing the inflections, and definitely a lot of books too. I have a really hard time with pronunciation. I'll read someone's name in a book, and in my mind, I'm pronouncing it the correct way. But then when I hear the audiobook of it or whatever, or if I hear someone else say it and pronounce it 1,000 different ways completely, it's like, oh my gosh, I was way off base. It's why, like, I would never read on my own the Lord of the Rings books or something like that, like fantasy stuff. They're always just the most obscure, hard to pronounce names. I mean, it's also like the Bible. Like, we do our Bible study every Thursday night. And so, like, we do popcorn reading of the chapter that we're reading through. And it's like the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Jebusites. And it's just like, dude, I cannot pronounce this correctly. And luckily, like, no one cares. Like, we all kind of suck at that because it's so hard to pronounce. But I've just always had a really hard time with pronunciation. Okay, we'll do one more and then we'll jump to another table. I'm not doing very good in Dr. Dude tonight. But I'm having fun.
Hey, how you doing? Bonjour.
Such a goofy table. Again, that's what I love about these older tables, is they're really goofy, they're really fun. They don't take themselves super seriously.
My life was dull. My life was drab. Till I acquired the gift of gab. Always be excellent. Never be rude. Get the gift of gab from Dr. Dude.
Always be excellent, never be rude. Get the gift of gab from Dr. Dude. Like, it's such a Bill and Ted style of saying it, like early 90s. Excellent. Always be excellent to each other. Never be rude, dude. Get your gift of gab from Dr. the Dude. Oh man, if I do end up doing the radio show for the streams, I'll have to start coming up with characters. And I'm gonna use this tomorrow for my improv class too. I just thought about it. I'm totally gonna have Dr. Dude as as a character for tomorrow in improv. So it's really interesting with improv. The last few weeks, we've been doing a lot of like character building, and it's always a wipe. So whenever we do a scene, and we are thinking of character traits or coming up with those characters on the spot, you wipe it afterwards, which means basically get rid of that character, you don't bring it back. And that's so hard for me to think of, because like if you come up with a good character or you come up with something, it's a very different way of doing comedy compared to something like SNL, where you are coming up with characters and your whole goal is to have a hook, which is a catchphrase, you know, something that is going to make the audience laugh. And when you get that hook, then you create a button, which basically is the thing that kills the scene and ends it, because it's such a good line to go out on. And so coming up with something like, oh, Dr. Dude, is like, if I want to do that for a radio show, like that's the whole point, you know, you create a character so that you can bring them back and, you know, evolve them over time. But in improv, it's the exact opposite. Your whole entire goal is to create a character within that 3-minute time span, if you're doing short form improv, and then get out. Like, you're in, you're out, and then you wipe it, and it never comes back. It's always something different, and that's so hard for my brain to kind of wrap around, because the way that I've always done comedy, in, you know, school or plays or, you know, videos or television or whatever, it's always come up with the character, come up with a backstory, and evolve that over time. And it's just such a weird way of thinking. I was just about to say, I'm doing so well on this. Whoa! Hey, I did well enough that I got 4th place, or technically 5th place, I believe, in this in the videos series. There we go. Well, my new light's working. Hopefully, I'm popping out a little bit more and standing out. I know the camera's like a little bit off kilter. I could duck down a little bit, but my headspace is cut off. But my new camera mounts come tomorrow, so I'm very excited about that. Okay, that was the last Dr. Dude. Let's do another one. What else do I want to play? Do a little Monster Bash, Terminator, Theater Magic. Let's do some Theater Magic. Yeah.
Welcome to the Theater of Magic.
Welcome. It's really interesting. The last 2 nights of, or the 2 weeks of improv, we did this one for pretty much the entire 2-hour class. So every class we do is 2 hours long.
Concentrate.
And we did this practice slash exercise, I guess you want to call it. That is basically speed dating, where you and your improv partner sit down across from each other at a table or an imaginary table, and you pretend you're speed dating. One person is the constant straight man, and then the other is the speed dater. that, you know, rotates 15, 30 seconds or whatever, or 90 seconds, depending on how funny it is. And it's basically we were given a character trait or some sort of character, and we just have to come up with that on the spot. And it was really interesting because I loved that. That was like one of my favorite nights of improv that we've ever had, other than the show. Because it gave me a lot of chances to try out new stuff. And he's like, you gotta go 100% in. You have to commit yourself to just being over the top. And I'm like, that's where I feel like I excel at. And I had so much fun, but everyone else had such a hard time with it. And I was like, oh, dude, I love coming up with characters. Like, one of the characters was like, oh, your character that you sit down and you're speed dating with your partner with is a character that thinks they're in a musical, but no one else is joining in. And then another one was, for me, what was it? An alien who's trying to blend into human society and things like that. And coming up with all those things like on the spot was just so much fun.
Welcome to the Theater of Magic.
Dude, I have a hard time with this one, with the plunger, and then, what is it? The Arabian Nights. Come on. There we go. Arabian Nights is also the one where you have to get it in one of the 3 little holes. And so you have to like actually be really good at plunger depth. I've always liked the trigger plungers. But there's also something so satisfying in a real pinball table about the tactile feedback of that spring. Oh man. But like Terminator 2 and Indiana Jones, where it's got the gun trigger, I've always liked those too. Yes. There we go.
Amazing skill.
Levitating woman.
Man, there's just something so satisfying about this, dude. Ugh. Someday, once life kind of gets a little bit more, once the dust settles in life a little bit, I really do want to either invest in building a video pinball table for the stream, or honestly going out and trying to buy a pinball table, like a real one, whatever it is. Because I think that would be really fun to have like a
The first ball is locked.
a channel point redeem where you spend, I don't know, like 5,000 channel points or something like that, and that will activate the pinball table and switch scenes so that I have to go play pinball for, you know, 5 minutes or 1 quarter or whatever. And I would use real quarters of my own money, and, you know, at the end of the stream or the end of the year, like actually pulling out the bucket and seeing how many quarters I've actually spent, how much money I've actually spent playing the pinball table. Like I'll get $100 in quarters, right? And then just have that in the studio, and so that I can count how much. I used to do that at the store all the time too. I could change the dip switches on the arcade machines to change it to free play mode, but I never do that unless I was playing on my own. But what I would do is I would challenge people, like, oh, how far can you get on a quarter, or something like that. And so doing those types of challenges would be really fun.
Back to the Theater of Magic.
Blink.
You have the magic.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I have not been watching, like, I don't really watch a whole lot of TV. I don't really watch a whole lot of movies. But because I was sick, because I wasn't streaming. I was trying to fill the evenings, the late evenings up. And so I started watching the Daredevil show. And then once I finished that, I started watching The Punisher. And I remember when The Punisher came out on Netflix in 2017, I think, 2018. I was like, oh man, this is really brutal. And I don't feel like I want to watch this right now. And then, and it also like kind of like wasn't very interesting to me. But since like The Punisher is part of this new pinball stuff, what's up, Wolfman? Yeah, let's get some pinball. Let's get some pinball magic. Since I started watching that, I was like, oh yeah, dude, this is actually kind of interesting. So like I've been like watching those on the off nights and things like that. And it's like, oh man, I totally have been neglecting all movies and TV pretty much since I started streaming every night. Because that's what I would do. Like I would watch movies or TV during the evenings, like, you know, until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. But now that I stream every night, you know, except for the last couple of months because of sickness, like I just don't have the time. And I'm always I like watching movies or TV when no one's around, when I can get really sucked into it, just like with gaming. I don't play games in the daytime. Like I just don't like it. It's really hard for me to get into a movie or a TV show when, you know, the windows are open and the sun's shining and there's, you know, you'll get a phone call or a text or something, like you get interrupted. That's why I'm such a night owl. That's why I love the evenings, is because even though I'm stupidly tired in the morning, it's where I don't get interrupted. It's why I do my best work at night. It was always my favorite part about IT work too, is when I would get, crap, 3 balls in one go, dude. All of those just went right down the drain. Ah. But I would always get really excited when I would have assigned a project and be able to do it after hours. Like after hours projects were always my favorite in IT. And go, okay, I'm gonna show up at 5:30 when everyone is out of the building, and I'm gonna sit there and work on these servers until 4 o'clock in the morning before, you know, everyone shows up in the morning at like 5 or 6 o'clock. Except for when something goes wrong. That was always stressful. I definitely had a few projects where something went horribly, horribly wrong. We had to get parts from like Fry's or something like that, and obviously the stores were closed. Like going to a Radio Shack or a Circuit City or something like right before they close at like 11 o'clock at night or something, and hoping that they're open. I remember there was this one job that I did where we were transporting their server from their old building to their new building in a different city. And so we had to go at the end of the day, pull the server out, go to the new building, put the new server in, and then start reconfiguring all the networking, you know, IP addresses and things like that. And something went wrong where circuit blew, or the power went out in the building or something like that, and we couldn't work on the computers and the servers. And so we're like, well, shoot, what do we do? And then we put a call into like some overnight company or whatever to come out. They came out like midnight. And so we had to wait around until like midnight. And we're like, well, let's go get dinner. And we went and got In-N-Out. And it was like one of the best tasting In-N-Out burgers I've ever had in my life. And it's interesting how those experiences can change how food tastes, right? Like when you're so tired, when you're so stressed out, when you're just exhausted, and you get just a plain In-N-Out burger, which is normally just a good burger. Oh my gosh, it just changes the flavor, right? So, oh man, now I really miss In-N-Out now.
I am only an illusion.
Oh, a 4x4, dude. Yeah, I used to. I'm a big dude, so like I could definitely eat it, but I shouldn't. So I just get double doubles at this point. But animal fries as well. Oh yeah, you got to make it count when you go. I'm so excited we're getting one in Nashville. Like they're moving their head. I saw the headline like this was like 2 years ago at this point. They said that they were gonna start putting a In-N-Out in Nashville, but they also announced like maybe a couple months ago they're bringing their headquarters to Nashville, and it's like, oh wow, like they're all in Tennessee now. Like they're moving their headquarters out here. Like that's kind of big. So we're gonna get multiple locations of In-N-Out out here. And that makes me very happy. But at the same time, dude, that's gonna be so stupidly popular. Like there's a ton in California and their lines are always atrocious, right? So my wife and I said, after about a year of it being open out here, then we'll go, because the lines are just going to be horrendous for the first year of that place being open. But once everyone's kind of gotten their, fix, and it's not the newest, hottest thing in town anymore, then we'll go.
The first ball is locked.
Yeah, all we need out here now is a Jack in the Box and a Del Taco.
The second ball is locked.
It's funny, we're supposed to, so there's a dog show this weekend, which I might not be streaming this weekend because I might be at a dog show in Georgia. But the way my wife got me to agree to go was, oh dude, that was right in the trunk. She said, well, there's a Del Taco in Georgia. And I went, and it's going to be on the way. So if you come with me to the dog show, you can have Del Taco for the first time in like 2.5, 3 years. I went, fine. I'll go with you to your dog show.
You have the magic.
If you watched so I have a soft spot for Jack in the Box. We had one out here. We had a Jack in the Box out here, and then once we moved, it closed, and I was so bummed out. But it was pretty far away from where we used to live, and now it's like it was even farther away now. But they obviously closed. But we had a Jack in the Box. Now we don't, and we don't have any Del Tacos, and I miss Del Taco. But there's one in Georgia.
Shoot again.
Yeah, Jack in the Box isn't as good anymore, but I have a soft spot for them. Mostly now because of the, if you watch the old studio video that I did, at the very beginning, I show off my Jack in the Box, our founder picture. Dude, what's up? How's it going?
Shoot again.
Yeah, the Jack in the Box cheeseburgers, man. Their buns, I think they season their burgers a little too much now too. The last time I had it, it was pretty over seasoned. But man, give me a Jumbo Jack, or their tacos. Dude, I could down 2 tacos from Jack in the Box right now. That sounds wonderful.
9 o'clock.
You must concentrate.
That's the crappy thing about living out here in the boonies is, number one, there's no like late night fast food at all. But even out here, like there's no We don't have 24-hour anything out here. It's so weird to me after living in Southern California my entire life, pretty much. It's like, dude, there's always like 40 places to eat late at night. It's funny, I was watching a streamer maybe about 2 weeks ago, and he's in Nashville. And he ended his stream at like 10:30. And he's like, oh yeah, the wife and I were gonna go out to, you know, Jeremy's, you know, the local place, you know, the barbecue joint or whatever, Jeremy's Barbecue out in here in Nashville. And I'm like, dude, it's 10:30. What are you talking? I'm like, oh, right. Nashville is a huge, gigantic city. They actually do have 24-hour stuff. Or they have like all the bars that are open super, super late at night too. Sorry, didn't mean to get on a rant about that. How are you doing, Pixel? What's going on? Welcome in, and hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good night. We're playing some Theater of Magic pinball. Dude, the whole magnetizing of the ball gimmick in some of these tables, so cool. I remember being a kid and going, how are they doing that? How is it moving up or moving around, defying gravity?
Nice performance.
Yeah,
About to
trapdoor,
begin.
come on.
Shoot for the magic trunk.
I'm trying. Whenever I hear the word trunk, like magic trunk or whatever, I always think about, what is it? The Valentine's Day episode in The Simpsons, where Ralph Wiggum says, look in the trunk, and he writes it to Lisa to ask her out or whatever, to the Krusty show. And he misspells it and it says, look in the tunk. And she's like, oh, I think he means trunk. I always think of that every single time. Papa Duke? Is that a Pokemon? The Master of Magnetism? Here's a weird thing that, this is a Ryan gripe, I guess. I really don't like it when in Marvel Comics or DC Comics or whatever, when they stick on a thing, like whenever you hear Magneto, when they talk about Magneto, they call him the Master of Magnetism. Like that's his, like, I'm trying to think of the word here, but like Magneto, the Master of Magnetism. Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme. You know, like I've always hated that they drill that in. So like whenever, oh yeah. So I was hanging out the other day and Magneto, the Master of Magnetism, and I are hanging out. And then, you know who walked by? Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme. It's like, that's not their full name. Why are you calling them that every single time they're mentioned, every time their name comes up? Oh, that's always bugged me. I don't know why I just thought of that, but yeah, the Master of Magnetism. Like, you know you're talking about Magneto, but like, come on. You don't need to say that every single time. Womp.
It's magic.
Yes, it is. It's magic time.
Tiger Saw.
Shoot for the captain ball.
Man, I have to restart my chat. My chat's freaking out again and crapping out. But I took my eyes off the ball for a second and it almost went down.
1 o'clock.
Again, just did it. Just again. Whew, boy. I don't know what's going on with the chat. Like, last night it worked totally fine. Had no problems last night. The other night when we were doing Rock Band, totally sucked. Totally crapped the bed. Okay.
Hocus pocus.
Take the ball.
Magic. Lock is lit.
Go for the center loop. The first ball is locked.
The first ball is locked. The second ball is
Second
locked.
ball is locked.
He's like the count.
It's 2 o'clock.
Oh, it's 2 o'clock. Okay. Thank you for telling me.
3 o'clock.
Oh, it's 3 now.
4 o'clock.
Oh, 4. Man, time is just flying by, isn't it? Wonderful. Multi-ball! I shot the trunk.
100 million.
Ah, dang it. At least I got one, right? Man, dang it. I hate that it does that.
Focus.
Well, what are you gonna do, right? Shoot the trunk. I mean, trunk.
Vanish.
Vanish is gone. Midnight Madness? What is Midnight Madness? Remind me. I would assume if it's part of this table, like if it's part of the table that, like, then I would assume it would work.
Shoot for the magic trunk.
It's emulated as basically as best as it possibly can. Pinball emulation is weird. Like, from what I understand about it, they say it's not actually emulated. It's running the code, and then it's simulation, not emulation. Oh, okay. There is a pro mode that gives you access to a lot of extra special features that you would have access to in the real pinball table, but that was always more expensive to get the pro versions. I think that was like $10 a table versus like I think $3 a table or something like that. I should have them unlocked. I can check after.
Magic.
I don't know if you have like actual modes like for clock settings or anything.
You must concentrate.
But if it's part of the actual BIOS and motherboard of the pinball table, you should be able to set it within the settings, like the pro mode settings. I like that I got several balls in that trunk. That was good. Ah, boo. Ah, dang it. We were playing. I mean, it was midnight a little bit ago, and we were playing it. I think we were playing this at midnight.
Is about to begin.
Shoot for the magic trunk.
What is it? It's 12:22 right now. Have I been playing this table for 22 minutes? Maybe not. I think we were in Dr. Dude at that point.
Safe escape.
Dr. Dude.
Go for the center loop.
Oh, it would have? Okay. Yeah, I don't think it did. I don't think we were playing it then.
It's breaking. Go for the center loop.
Yeah, I think I just missed it. Bummer. Bummer. Come on.
Please shoot again.
I will. Shoot again. Yeah, you totally should. I would be really interested to know if that works or not. So with the Midnight Madness stuff, like, do all the like lights go out or something like that? Does the table go dark? That would be cool. And only like the dark purple stuff gets lit up or something. I think that would be rad. You know, that is one of the things that I do like about the Zen pinball stuff. Give me 1 second. Let me not mess this up because I think I got a good score. Oh, I got 4. Okay, never mind. It wasn't that good. I thought I did like really well. That's always kind of the bummer. You do really well and you're like, yeah, I did so good. And then you're like, oh, I got 4th place. I got 5th place. Oh, there's stuff on the DMD. Okay. Oh yeah, dude, I did not. Okay, so it does have some of my high scores in here. Huh. Okay, well, let's do something else. What other table? I do like Whitewater, but I feel like I play that every time. You know what? I've been seeing a lot of Starship Troopers stuff. Let's play Starship Troopers. Dizzy or Cameron? That's the question. Whenever you talk about Starship Troopers, you always got to pick Dizzy or Cameron. Which is your girl? Oh, come on. That should not count. Thank you. I don't think I've ever played this table. That is a wide gutter, middle gutter lane. I don't like it. It's very wide. And that red bumper, like right above the right flipper, that red flipper, I'm not a fan so far of this. Yeah, I don't think I would want to own this table. Like just from the layout, it's very plain. You've got some stuff up at the top, but again, it looks fairly plain. A lot of like hard to see stuff. Oh, thank you for the follow, man. I appreciate that. How's it going, Silver Sunset Lounge? Hope you're doing well. There's a lot of like just junk on the screen on this one that I'm not a big fan of. Hey, my chat is working again. Excellent. That always makes me happy. Yeah. Warning, multi-ball. Okay, so that's some good multi-ball lights though. Although it's very plain. And the audio is kind of atrocious on this too, like really low quality samples. Like really bad samples. For a 97 table too? Like it sounds like it was made in the, you know, like late 70s, early 80s samples for the bit rate. Hey, I'm keeping it alive. Keeping this multi-ball alive as much as I possibly can. Hey, I got a jackpot. I'll take it. Ah, boo. No. Okay. Oh, come on. Do you want to live forever? Yes, yes I do. I promise I will live forever. Okay. We'll do like 1 or 2 more rounds of this table. I'm not impressed, unfortunately. It's not my favorite table I've ever played. Select your high score face. Nope. Yeah. A cop. Okay, Doom guy. We'll go with Doom guy. Dude, oh my gosh, I want to play Doom again. We do have to finish Quake 4 first. But I want to go back through the Doom series. That was so much fun last year. Especially in VR, now that I understand the Doom series in much greater detail. Man, I was too young to watch Starship Troopers. I was, what, 12? It is not a 12-year-old movie. But I always remember Starship Troopers, seeing that in the theater. I was too young to comprehend the political satire of that movie. I just thought it was cool. And I had a good time in that theater. Watching that, all those bugs just get decimated and destroy all those people in just horrible ways. They don't make movies like they used to, man. They just don't make them like they used to. Like I was talking about earlier when I was talking about the quality of cartoons nowadays and stuff. One of the big things that I think no one really talks about why the quality is so bad, other than the just straight up writing quality is awful, is that when you watch a movie nowadays that's produced now, no one understands pacing. And I'm not talking about storyline pacing and action. I'm talking about the actual pacing of the images and dialogue. No one understands that now. And it's such a big, big thing. People knew how to let moments breathe in movies, and like, I guess, like you can blame executives and things like that. Dang it. Oh, it doesn't. You know, it might not have the pro menu. I'll jump back into Theater of Magic and we'll see if it has the pro menu or not. I don't. They introduced pro, I think, a little bit later on, because Theater of Magic wasn't their first tables that they did. It was Arabian Nights, Theater of Magic. I think those were like some of the first. And they might not have introduced pro in that, so we'll check. Yeah. But there was a movie or something that I was watching recently where I was just like, oh dude, the phrasing or the pacing of this movie is so well done. They're letting the actors act. They're letting the script breathe and reaction time and all that. And it's just like, you don't get that anymore. It's while someone is delivering dialogue, they're thinking about the next, 5 scenes. And they're trying to rush things so fast. Production is moving way too fast, trying to get everything in. I mean, that's all in the editing room too, as well as when they shoot. Okay, we'll do one more with this because I'm not super impressed with this table. But I'm getting high scores, so that's got to count for something, right? Toton has, Toton. What is Toton? I'm assuming that's a acronym for something. Okay, that's probably my favorite part of this table. Oh, Tails. There's so much dialogue for the beginning that I have no idea what he says because the audio bit rate is absolutely terrible. Right? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, this is not a great table. That's unfortunate. I had high hopes for a Starship Troopers table.
Listen up. I got level 2. Kill everything with more than 2 legs.
That's right. It's got more than 2 legs, kill it. Cats, dogs, bugs, deer. We have, so it was really fun. We were having dinner the other night and I looked out the window and we have about 3 family of deer on our property. And there was about, we counted 16 deer in our backyard. It was awesome. Yeah, that's such a smart idea to do, is when they were saying we're losing all the licensing, we're not continuing on, like we're gonna put it on deep discount or whatever. I think they did that, right? They did deep discount for like the last week before they lost the license. Yeah, buy all of them with the Pro, because man, you ain't getting those now. Man. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So like the Zen pinball stuff, like it's such a different thing, but like you can do so many different new things that you can't do with a real world pinball table. I do like that, but Zen, their proprietary engines and physics, they keep going back to, they keep remaking the tables, and they keep screwing it up more and more and more. And as much as it sucks for me to say, like, because I am talking to them about getting access to some new stuff, but you know, I'm gonna tell it like it is. Like their stuff, for the most part, when they bought all the licenses and they kind of screwed everything up, and it sucks. Oh yeah, no, it is not accurate at all. Those people have no idea what they're talking about. But they are coming out with a new VR, like native VR Zen pinball stuff, and so I'm hoping that works a lot better than what we were playing last year. I'm assuming it will. I'm excited to try that out. Oh, come on. Yeah, I think so too. Either they don't know because they didn't play Pinball Arcade and they just don't know how good it used to be, versus the, you know, and that's probably what a lot of it is. There's so many times where you'll see, I experience this pretty much every day, where I try to talk to people about VR and they're like, man, have you played PlayStation VR? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh man, you got to try it. I'm like, dude, I've been doing VR since 2014. I developed a VR game in 2016. I've had over 5 headsets. Like I'm well aware of VR. Like the console, someone was trying to say like, oh dude, if you get a PlayStation VR, you're gonna love it. And I'm like, console VR is not what I'm looking for, man. Console VR is like buying a Honda Civic when I have a Lamborghini at home, right? Like, it's just, like, that's good for you, but it's not what I'm looking for. That's one of the pitfalls about doing stuff online, is you just don't know where other people are coming from sometimes. They promise head-to-head, and head-to-head multiplayer would be awesome, but if they never delivered on that, that sucks. Okay, new table. Let's do a new table. All right. You know, I do like, is it Bride? Yeah, I think Bride of Pinbot. This is the one where you have to put her together, right? Like shoot her in the face and eyes and mouth and stuff. Yeah, I like this one. This one's cool. This is a really interesting table. Spin the small wheel. Okay. Man, it's getting cold. Whew. I am freezing. It sucks, man. This weather just, it blows. I'm so tired of it being so back and forth. I've never experienced weather like this winter in my entire life. Like, we've had winters out here. We lived out here for 4 years now. I lived in the mountain for over a decade, so like I know snowstorms and blizzards and dealing with 3-foot snow and all that. Like, I'm well aware and well acquainted with it. But man, this winter in this new house has just been some of the worst weather I've ever seen. Like this weekend, the entire week was 70 degrees, 75 degrees, and then we dropped to 30 degrees, and we had tornadoes and flooding, and it's just like, what the crap is going on? And we were just not prepared for it. And it's just like, dude, I'm so tired of this studio either being freezing cold where I'm seeing my breath inside or being boiling hot. Like back in November when I started building the studio, it was like, all right, cool. I'm sweating every day. I'm really, really hot. And then it was like a switch that flipped. The next day it was 30 degrees, and it's been 30 degrees pretty much every night for the last 4 months, if not colder. Like last night, after the stream last night, I walked outside of the studio, and my car was frozen. There was frost. I had to run the defroster to just get to the house on the windows because everything was frozen over. That's how stupidly cold it was last night. And it's like, dude, it was 70 degrees 2 days ago. So weird. And today was pretty, no, today was actually kind of cold. It was about 60 degrees today. Come on, baby. Man, I gotta think. So I posted in the Discord something that I've kind of been wanting to do for the last couple of weeks, of doing like on every Monday, posting like an update of what's going on in the Discord, what's going on the website, what's going on with the streams, kind of like a catch-all like update. And I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. And so I want to make that more of a staple, so that everyone can be on the same page of what's going on, and cataloging the games that I'm playing for Game of the Month, games that I'm playing currently, like in rotation, and then doing the update for the Multiplayer Madness stuff. That's been on my mind for the last several weeks, is Multiplayer Madness. And so last night I was talking about it, where we've got a Minecraft server that will be running 24/7, Quake 3 server I'll be running 24/7, and then other stuff that we can run for Multiplayer Madness too. They just announced like some fan-made project did Counter-Strike 1.6. And I was like, oh man, I want to play some Counter-Strike. I haven't played that in years. But I want to play a little bit of Counter-Strike, but I'd rather play Dave Defeat. Dave Defeat was my Counter-Strike. That's where I really spent most of my multiplayer time in college. Is college? Yeah, in college. 2002, 2003. I played a little bit of Counter-Strike in high school, but I was just never a multiplayer guy. But Dave Defeat, I'm such a big World War II nut that Dave Defeat was kind of like just so interesting to me. And I've played a few rounds of it like every couple of years. Like I'll load it up for like half an hour and go, yeah. I think I did that maybe like back in, I think right before we moved last year. So like in July or early August, I loaded up a little Dave Defeat and played like 45 minutes, and I had so much fun. I was like, dude, we got to do this for Multiplayer Madness. And then we moved and life got crazy hectic. Okay, we'll do one more. I'm not doing good on this one tonight. We'll do one more and then we'll switch out. If you got a table you want me to play, if I've got it, let me know and we'll play it. I knew it. I knew it as soon as it hit and stopped there up at the top. I was like, it's going right down the middle. Right in the gutter. Yeah, come on. Aw. Saw that extra ball and I wanted it. Did not get it. I can speak.
Oh, no. We need shuttle launch.
Yeah, this is a really interesting table. I wish I was better at it. Again, that's how you get better, is just by playing it, right? Yeah, launch the... Oh. There we go. I like that it can go back into the plunger area, the launcher area. I think that's a really interesting mechanic or gimmick. There's so many great tables, man. Pinball is fantastic. I love it so much. Honestly, like, if I could just own one table, I'd be super happy. I don't even care what it is. I will say, though, like, it's gotta be of the late 80s. I'd say 90s. 90s tables are probably my favorite. Where you've got the DMD board and things like that. Something that has animation and video mode, audio, like good audio quality, interesting gimmick. What table would I get? Oh man, that's such a good question, because there's like, every time I sit down and play these tables, like there's probably about 8 or 9 tables that I go, I would love to own this. But if I had to pick one, I don't know, dude. It's a toss-up. I think Medieval Madness, Monster Bash. Out of the ones that I played here, Indiana Jones trilogy. That's a really fun one. I could just spend hours in that. I'm trying to think of other ones. I want to play Black Knight 2000 after this. I just thought of the theme song in Black Knight. Yeah, Indy's a great table. I would love to own the Disneyland version of it too. I remember going to Disneyland, going across from the Jungle Cruise, and they had that table in the bazaar. And I lost probably about $20 to that table. Is it still there? Nice. I heard that they took it away for a while, but I guess it came back recently. I think around the time the movie came out. I didn't know if they kind of took it away again or not. I haven't heard anything else since then. It's interesting, man. I was talking to my wife the other night, maybe about like 2 weeks ago. She was asking me, would I ever want to go back to Disneyland? And I was like, dude, that time in my life was so interesting, special, and different that the memories that I have are pretty much perfect. And going back there, it's going to be such a different experience now with the way my life is, how much older I am, and just everything in life that I'm good. I don't ever need to go back there. I would like to experience some of those rides again, but I spent so many years at Disneyland. Like my ex-girlfriend worked there, and so I have memories of being backstage, hanging out backstage behind the scenes on certain rides, like Tower of Terror. They don't even have Tower of Terror again. Like, so even going there, it's like, it's not the same experience anyways, so like, why even bother? Dude, Tower of Terror was such a good ride. They have it still at at Disney World in Florida, the Magic Kingdom. Or is that? No, that's not the Magic Kingdom. That's what was MGM Studios, which is now Hollywood Studios, I believe. And that's a far superior version of what we had in California Adventure. Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna start going off on Disney stuff, aren't I? I do it every time, but like I said, I had so many good memories of that place. I had a annual pass for over a decade. It's interesting. I got to my improv class last week early, and so we were kind of hanging out talking. I was talking to my instructor, and most of us from our church are Southern California natives. So like our entire church is like Southern California natives transplanted into Tennessee. And we were talking about Disneyland for a while, and I was like, oh yeah, I basically lived at Disneyland for like over a decade. And he's like, oh really? I used to work at Annapolis in downtown Disney. I'm like, no way, really? We would go there all the time afterwards. And he's like, oh yeah, like what years? And I was like, oh, from this and this. He's like, oh dude, I worked that time. I'm like, you know what? We probably bumped into each other. No, I never did the 48-hour weekend stuff. Like all the special event stuff, I really didn't do much of after a certain point. The last special event stuff that I did was the Pirates of the Caribbean world premieres. I went to all 3 of the Pirates of the Caribbean 1, 2, and 3 world premieres. Man, Captain EO. Ugh. I was so happy they brought that back too. Because I remember as a kid loving Captain EO, except for the Queen, right? The Queen at the end, like, or you think me pretty? She scared the crap out of me. But I had so much fun with Captain EO as a kid. I loved all the songs. I would dance, to them and everything. And then when they took it away, and it was Honey, I Shrunk the Audience for like 15 years or something like that. Stupid. It was so dumb. And it was Honey, I Shrunk the Audience with Flubber. Like they introduced Flubber when the Robin Williams movie was, coming out. But then they didn't even get any of the same actors for it. So like Robin Williams wasn't a part of it for the Flubber stuff. I don't think they had Rick Moranis for the Honey, I Shrunk the Audience stuff either. So it was just like a bunch of like generic crap. And then when they finally brought back Captain EO, I was like obviously old enough to really appreciate it too. And so it was just like a blast seeing that again. Yeah, Captain EO was epic. I liked when they did the Red Hot Chili Peppers soundtrack for Space Mountain. I thought that was interesting. I'm glad it was kind of a limited time thing because Space Mountain is so magical. Space Mountain is so special that to have it permanently with Red Hot Chili Peppers music would be kind of a little bit weird. But that was really cool. It changed it up enough, you know, for someone who would go on that ride pretty much like on a weekly basis. It was like cool to have it change up. But I'm glad that they switched it back. And I liked that they did the lights on experience every once in a while too. That was really fun. Riding that ride with the lights on, really, really weird. And then when they changed it up too, I really liked how they did the like update with all the new effects and like digital projector stuff. That was cool. Ah, dang it. I'm trying to think of some other stuff too. I always really liked the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay during Christmas time at Haunted Mansion. What else did they do that was really fun? Trying to think. What's up, Nightmare? How are you doing, dude? I apologize. The other night when you were talking, my chat was totally broken, so I didn't see anyone chatting. So I apologize for not acknowledging you, buddy. But hopefully you're doing good. Yeah, all right, good, awesome. Dude, Shrek and Austin Powers marathon with some pizza? Heck yeah. Nice. I have not watched Shrek since probably, well, okay, so I did see Shrek Forever After in theaters. That was the last time I saw Shrek, anything Shrek related. So that was what, 2011? It's been a while. And apparently they're making a new Shrek 5. And I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not even really super upset with the whole thing about them changing the animation, because like, of course they're gonna do that at some point. Like the last movie was so long ago. Like technology and animation and art direction have changed so much in that time. So it's gonna be a little bit odd and different, but I thought they ended the whole Shrek series well enough. I don't think that they need to go back to that well. But, you know, that's what Hollywood is at this point. It's just in a well being dug deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and nothing new. No new wells are being created. Only existing wells are being dug deeper. Yeah, Shrek Marathon. I would legitimately love to rewatch those movies. I haven't seen them in years. Yep, I'm the same way. I'm getting fed up with them all. I'm done, dude. I'm done with any remake or remaster on anything, whether it's a movie, TV show, or video game. I'm just kind of done. I've had those experiences. I want something new and different. If you're just gonna do it this. So reboots are a little bit different. I think enough to where you could reboot something and have it be very different, but keep the same core concept. And I think I'm okay with that depending on what it is. But I don't want everything to be a reboot, right? And we had that, man. Remember like the span of 2005 to 2013 where they were just rebooting everything. We had reboots of Starsky and Hutch, reboots of the A-Team. Oh, it was so weird. But at least we were still getting new movies at the same time. So like they didn't stand out as much. But it was like, all right, here's the 70s TV show, here's the 80s TV show that, you know, used to be popular, and now the people who watched it as kids are now running Hollywood, so we're gonna get those. You know, it's a cyclical cycle of this, you know, churning out nostalgia every 20 to 30 years. But I didn't mind it as much back then, but now it's just like, dude, I'm done. Oh my gosh, it is freezing in here. I think the temperature dropped in here at least 20 degrees. I would say it's probably about 50 degrees in the studio right now, if not colder. It might be like 48 degrees. My hands are starting to get like actual pain. Okay, I can't see my breath yet. So apparently it's not that bad. No, we'll do one more, and then we'll switch out to a new table, and then we'll probably call it.
Launch shuttle.
Yeah, launch that shuttle. Yes. Wait, hold on. The OG, really? You really liked the original Judge Dredd movie over the remake? I think you are probably the only person that I've ever heard say that. I'm not gonna disagree with you, but I think I might. I really did think the new Carl Urban Judge Dredd was really interesting. It was The Raid, though, right? That was my big issue with Judge Dredd 2012, was it was just The Raid. It was an American version of The Raid, which, dude, that movie's rad too, so like I'm fine with it, but man, I was a little bummed out. Oh crap, what happened there? Yeah, it was just The Raid, exactly. And that movie's awesome. You know what? We'll do a little Judge Dredd for you to close out the stream. Mostly, yeah, I just got to call it a 2-hour stream tonight because of work. Yeah, dude, Stallone's Dredd. People were so pissed off that he took his helmet off. And I never really cared about that. I thought that movie was super fun. I'm bummed that they didn't make, like, as far as I know, the 2012 Judge Dredd movie did very, very well, so I'm really surprised we never got a sequel out of it. But man, Judge Dredd, dude, what a great, cool, fun character. He's super pissed off. Super violent.
Civil disorder has erupted at Heights Music.
What a cool comic. We need more comics like Judge Dredd.
1 year for flatulism.
I think Stallone was the perfect Judge Dredd. I think the costume was a little bit, I don't want to say goofy, because I don't believe it was goofy. I didn't like the skin tight black leotard of it, though. That was my big issue with the Stallone costuming. It wasn't that he took his helmet off or anything. I loved the bikes in the Stallone version too. All the architecture and aesthetic of the flying cars and the bikes and everything. Mega City looked freaking rad. Even Rob Schneider. I have nothing against Rob Schneider. I thought it was fun. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I will say that I haven't really read a whole lot of Judge Dredd. Which is weird too, because I actually read comics pretty much every night before I go to bed. Like after the stream, I'll sit and read for probably about half an hour or so. And the what is it, 2080 or whatever comics, the Judge Dredd stuff, I just never really got into. Mostly because I had a hard time when I was trying to get into them to really get into how to read Judge Dredd. And I actually experienced this earlier today too. I was organizing my server and going through my G.I. Joe comics, and there's so many issues with the naming of comics. It's something that I've always stood out against, saying comics need to change. The way that we do comics is just not a viable option anymore. I don't think that there should be monthly comics. I really don't. I think monthly comics are a dying industry. What they should do is hire a set of writers to create a comic for whatever, comic, Batman or whatever. And every story arc should be trade paperback, or, I call them graphic novels. I know that's not technically the correct term, but basically you have issues. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 382. Detective Comics 1217, you have the single issues, and those are dying. No one buys single issue comics anymore once a month. Like, that's such a stupid way to put out a story. It takes way too long. They're making the Long Halloween 2 right now. Batman The Long Halloween 2. The Last Halloween. And it's a 12-issue arc, which is going to take an entire year to come out. And I don't want to sit there for an entire year once a month reading 20 to 30 pages. I want to read, the entire 400-page book all at once. And that's what needs to happen. They need to sit there and hire these artists and writers to make a comic book that is, X amount of pages long. That's an entire story arc. And that's how it should be done. And once a week, you get, or maybe once a month at this point, you get one big one from, the main studios, and then you get all the smaller ones too.
Dimensional Days 2.
Because I think we have way too many versions of the same character. They have they have 8 different Spider-Man comics going at once. We don't need that. We don't need Ben Reilly Spider-Man. We don't need Miles Morales Spider-Man. We don't need Peter Parker Spider-Man once a week. There's 4 different Spider-Man Miles Morales comics going on at once. There's 4 different Peter Parker Spider-Man comics going on all at once. They're all named something different. They're very confusing. It's extremely hard to get a bead on what storyline is being told at any one given time. Like, that whole industry needs a complete washover and revamp.
Excellent.
Something along the lines of going, all right, writer and artist, penciler, colorists, get your team together. You're making the new Batman story arc. It's gonna be a 4 quote unquote issue story arc that would take normally 4 months to come out, and we're gonna let you write it in art, do all the art for it in the next 3 to 4 months, and then get it done, and then we'll put it out and we'll sell it as a single book. Instead of 4 issues split up into 4 parts across the span of 4 months, once a month where you read 20 pages at a time. Like, that's such a stupid way to tell a story. I'm sorry. I've never liked issues in comics. And everything needs to be, I don't want Marvel, and especially DC more so than Marvel. The amount of reboots, universe reboots, needs to stop. No more. Zero. You don't get to reboot your universe for at least 10 years. There's a 10-year freeze on universe reboots for DC and Marvel, in my mind. Like, you cannot reboot the entire universe every 3 years. That's insane. Even every 10 years, that's too much. And it all started with that stupid New 52 garbage in 2011. 2011 is when comics died in my mind. Because I had my game store, and I partnered with our local comic book store to sell a few comics, sell a few games, and sell a few action figures. And so we went in on like boxes together from a distributor, and we would divvy it up. So they would sell these action figures, we would sell these action figures and stuff like that. And the reason why I did that is because I spent so much money at his store. Like, I had my game store, and then I would go to the comic store, and you know, I would drop like a couple $100 every week on new comics, and I would sit there and read them in the store. Well, customers weren't around, and once I finished it, then I would sell them at the store for a discounted price and stuff like that. And I would just spend so much money on comics, and I was like, dude, these are so good. And then 2011, New 52 happened, and it just went down the toilet. Like, man, it was just such a terrible way to reboot that entire series where Batgirl is, you know, a teenage girl taking selfies. Robin's gay, like legit gay. You know, all these random things that were going on. And it was just like, dude, this is terrible. And then they kept rebooting it, like every few years. Then they did the Rebirth, and then now they're doing All In. It's like, dude, in what, 15 years, you've rebooted your universe 3 separate times? And then all the Crisis events, too. I mean, this is strictly DC. But all the Crisis events and everything, I'm just like, dude, stop. Stop multiverse stories. If I ran DC, which I don't even know about the industry, and I could run it better than, you know, what DC's been doing. I honestly think Marvel put... This is my conspiracy theory. Marvel hired and have operatives in DC for the last 15 years to destroy DC from the inside out. Because I cannot fathom a company making that many boneheaded decisions in a row to the point where they've basically destroyed their entire fan base, franchises, goodwill, stock market prices, stocks. Like, they've just gone so downhill. Every single movie sucks and blows at the same time. It's just the worst. So if I was going to run something like DC, like I said, I would hire the top 25 writers and artists, and have each one of them create their team, and say, all right, you're in charge of Batman, you're in charge of Spider-Man, you're in Superman, you're in charge of Wonder Woman, you're in charge of The Question, you're in charge of Green Arrow, you're in charge of Aquaman. And I would do that for each character. And I would do that for each character 2 to 5 times, depending on the popularity of the character. So like Batman. Batman would have 5 different Batman teams. And each one of those teams would be writing a graphic novel, a story arc of 3 to 10 issues, depending on the scope and the team. So, like, if Jeff Loeb and if Tim Sale was alive, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale would have the last Halloween, and they would be contracted out for creating a 12 quote-unquote issue story arc, and they would have an entire year to write it before they would put it out. Instead of going from 1 month to 1 month to 1 month and trying to get these story arcs and these issues out, they would just be contracted to say, all right, you have 1 year to deliver. All right, 365 days. Come up with a story, come up with the writing, come up with the art design, and pencil it and, you know, ink it and color it. And we'll see where you are, you know, every X amount of months. We'll do check-ins and milestones. And then in a month, we're going to put it out, and then we'll reap our investment rewards. It's an return on investment, and that's how most industries work. But with the comic industry, it's like the exact opposite. Like, let's hire these hack writers to create a story for one of our most popular characters. They'll have, you know, a run of 2 or 3 issues, and they won't sell well, and so we'll just cancel it and then reboot the issue, the series. Like, how many freaking times do I have to go and see Spider-Man issue 1 on a store shelf every few months? There's a new Spider-Man #1. Because it's constantly, you know, putting out these story arcs and then rebooting it because it gets canceled. Boy, I did not think I was going to ramble about comics tonight. Did I ignore chat? No, okay, good. Hopefully I'm not ignoring chat. You know, if I was a more popular streamer, and I had like moderators and a team for YouTube shorts and stuff, if I ever get popular, I would want my team to go through my streams and bookmark my rants and then put those rants out on as shorts or videos. Ryan's rant from Tuesday about comics. Now, like, how DC is terrible, or how the comics industry is the worst. Okay, we'll do one more Judge Dredd, and then we'll jump into one more thing, because I'm having fun ranting. I've gotten a couple rants in, man. I'm kind of surprised. We had, what was I ranting about last night? I'm trying to remember. It's kind of funny. When I was in high school or when I was in college, I wrote this article for my cousin's website called the Madman's Outhouse. And it was just a bunch of rants about, you know, just random topics like comics or movies or whatever. And so, like, I've always had that panache for ranting about certain subject matters where I could go on for 15, 20 minutes and not even take a breath.
Don't move.
I've always enjoyed that. And so it became this like running joke almost in my friends group of when I would get like basically pissed off about a certain subject matter, and we'd all be talking about it like in our text group or whatever. And we're all, you know, 1 or 2 sentences or whatever, and then they wouldn't hear from me for like 5 or 10 minutes. They would go, "Oh, Ryan's writing his rant," and then they would just wait until I hit send, and then it would just be this super long, massive text post, this block of, or it got so long at some point that I started writing it on my website and then just posting the link to my rant from my website in our text group, because I was like, dude, if I'm gonna go this hard on a subject matter, I might as well have it archived somewhere, right? Instead of just a group text chat that's gonna get deleted at some point, and no one will ever see it. So, like, I started writing my rants in website articles again, and I was like, oh, this is fun. Oh, man. I had to itch my nose, and I lost that ball. Oh, there goes the other multi-ball. Oh, well. Ha, 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 ha. But it all comes back to Judge Dredd, which... honestly, like I said, I really like the Carl Urban movie, but again, it is just The Raid, but with a Judge Dredd skin on it. And then the Stallone one just has a special place in my heart. That whole mid-90s action movie was just so weird. That whole era of action movies in the mid-90s where everything started getting self-referential. You started getting writers that were writing meta commentary a little bit. And you got stuff like Last Action Hero out of it. I remember seeing Last Action Hero on HBO, I believe, in a hotel room when I was a kid. It was right when, it was like when HBO was still doing, like, right after the theatrical release was out, or maybe even during theatrical release, they would show movies on HBO. And I remember our family took a family trip somewhere, and one of the nights we were staying in a hotel room, and I saw Last Action Hero, and I had the action figures too, but I never saw the movie, and my mom wouldn't take me to go see it. And so I begged her and begged her and begged her, because I saw it on, like, the, you know, the TV guide channel for the hotel room, and I saw that Last Action Hero was playing, and I was like, oh, please. And it was like $7 or $10 or something like that. And my mom was like, no. I finally got her to agree to buy it. And so we paid for it, you know, through like the phone or whatever in the hotel room. And they unlocked the channel, and I got to watch Last Action Hero in the hotel room. And I honestly didn't remember most of it, other than the beginning part where I think the kid gets sucked into the projector or whatever, or Jack Slater comes out of the projection movie screen, and then they're up on a rooftop with the bad guy, Charles Dance, I believe, and then someone gets thrown off, or is a stick of dynamite gets thrown and gets blown up or something. I can't remember.
Great shot.
That's all I remember from Last Action Hero. And then I saw it probably in 2004 for the first time since I saw it as a kid. I was out of high school. I was in college, and then my friend and I watched it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally different than what I remember. I don't remember the meta commentary and just the weird, like the animated cat police cop, or the police chief where his eyes bulge out and literal smoke is coming out of his ears, and his head like blows up and gets big and red and explodes. Like all of that weird crap, I don't remember at all as a kid. And you would think I would remember something like that. Like those are pretty memorable, weird parts in that movie. But it was a time, man. Stallone and Arnold movies. Demolition Man, Judge Dredd, Rambo, the Terminator movies.
Dimensional Days 2.
I honestly think that I like Stallone's movies more from that era than I liked Arnold movies. As good as Terminator 2 is, that's probably one of the top. I've always loved Stallone. The Rocky movies are fantastic. The Rambo franchise is amazing. Like, Stallone was more of a franchise character.
Judge Mortis, contained.
Ah, dang it, dang it. Yes.
Shoot left ramp.
I'm trying to shoot the left ramp. Ah, dang it.
Battle tank sighted in Sector 6.
Battle tank damage at 25%.
Battle damage, man. That was something that I loved about action figures back in the day. I saw a post about this the other day and I was like, oh, that's right. No, it was today. I saw something today where they said battle damage. And I went, oh, that unlocked a childhood memory. I remember loving the action figures that had battle damage, where you would have a character and they would swap out like their face or like their head or mask or whatever, and it would be ripped. I remember that there was a Spider-Man animated series action figure where it was Spider-Man battle damage, where he was Spider-Man, but like his costume was all ripped, and so you could see like patches of skin, or like part of his hair was coming out of a hole in the mask, and like one of his eyes was like eye covers was missing, and so you would see part of Peter Parker's hair and eyes, and it was just like, dude, this is such a cool action figure. And so like when we would play action figures, we'd have like a big battle with, you know, all the bad guys, and then at some point you would swap out, like he got thrown off the building and he would get swapped out with the battle damage action figure, and that was so much fun. It's fun. I was telling my wife about like this one memory that my friend and I, we would play in a storm drain with our action figures, like in this big creek, and then it'd float out into a storm drain, and we would play action figures in that all the time. Okay, you know what? It's getting pretty late. It's 1:30 in the morning. I do have work in the morning. So I'm gonna call it here for tonight, but I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll be back tomorrow night with more video games. If you haven't, join the Discord. I just posted the new kind of like weekly update that I'm doing that kind of covers the game of the month, the continuing games that I'm going to be playing as well, and then talking about multiplayer madness that's going to start coming back soon. But I hope everyone has a good rest of your evening. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow night around 11 p.m. Central. Until then, take care, God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow for more video games. Until then, bye-bye.